How can they go from like Gervonta Davis to Francis Ngannou? Come on, like the way different and everything. It make no sense. It make no sense. Nikisa reached out the other day and tell me how they need a replacement for Gervonta. Then I say, okay, what can I do for you? He said, yeah, we're looking for a replacement, but I still haven't get it. I was like, okay, then what exactly can I do for you? Like we would think about you with that Jake. I'm like, what? I'm like, who's Jake? I was so confused. I'm like, no, bro, come on. Don't disrespect me like that. He sent out some number. I'm like, it's not about the number. I'm not just interested. It make no sense for me.
Is it flattering at least that they're thinking about you?
Yeah, I think it's disrespectful instead. What flattering? Come on.
Jake Paul might be fighting Francis Ngannou. He was supposed to be boxing Gervonta Tank Davis. And now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations. And here are the potential opponents: Nate Diaz or Francis Ngannou. To go from fighting Gervonta Davis to now fighting Francis Ngannou. I mean, listen, if he does it, fair play. But I just call number one bullshit. Nate Diaz, yeah, 100%.
Francis Ngannou, the former UFC heavyweight champion known as the Predator, has just sent a bone-chilling warning to Jake Paul. And trust me, you don't want to miss what he said. Ngannou is telling Paul to choose your words wisely, boy. Stay with us as we uncover every detail of this developing story. Let's rewind and understand how we got here. Jake Paul was scheduled to face boxing champion Gervonta Tank Davis on November 14th in what was supposed to be one of the biggest fights of the year, streaming live on Netflix. But here's where things got complicated. Davis was recently hit with a serious civil lawsuit by his ex-girlfriend, accusing him of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. As a result, Most Valuable Promotions pulled the plug on the fight.
Baltimore boxing champion Gervonta Tank Davis faces new abuse claims from a woman who claims to be his ex-girlfriend. This is according to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner. Courtney Russell says she dated Davis for 5 months and recently filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and other offenses. She claims Davis physically attacked her a number of times during their relationship. Russell claims the most recent incident was Monday at a Miami nightclub. Davis is scheduled to fight Jake Paul in Miami on November 14th.
Now, Jake Paul's team is scrambling to find a replacement opponent. And guess whose name came up? Francis Ngannou. According to reports, Paul's team reached out to several fighters, including Nate Diaz, Ryan Garcia, and the former UFC heavyweight champion himself, Francis Ngannou.
What do you think about the Fury-Ngannou fight?
I think it's great for Francis to show other fighters a roadmap to becoming their own wealthy business mogul, and like leaving the UFC where he was getting taken advantage of, only getting like $600K for fights when he's the heavyweight champion of the world, and he's now going to go make tens of millions of dollars. That is the new model where fighters should take advantage of building their own brand.
But Ngannou's response? Not what they expected. In an interview with TMZ Sports, Francis Ngannou didn't hold back. Let me tell you exactly what went down. Ngannou revealed that Nakisa Badarian from Paul's team called him about replacing Gervonta Davis. But here's the thing, Ngannou was completely confused by the offer. He said, and I quote, "They told me they need a replacement for Gervonta. I said, okay, what can I do for you? They said, we're thinking about you fighting Jake. I was like, which Jake? I was so confused. I wasn't expecting that at all."
Nikisa reached out the other day and tell me how they need a replacement for Gervonta, and after I listened, I wasn't getting it. Then I say, okay, what can I do for you? What exactly? He said, yeah, we're looking for a replacement, but I still haven't get it. I was like, okay, then what exactly can I do for you? He was like, yeah, can I, can you, we think about you to fight Jake? I'm like, what? Say, we think about you to fight Jake to replace Gervonta. I'm like, who's Jake? I was so confused, I wasn't expecting that at all.
But here's where it gets spicy. Ngannou continued, I'm like, no, bro, come on. Don't disrespect me like that.
I'm like, no, bro, come on. Don't, I mean, don't disrespect me like that.
The former UFC champion made it crystal clear. This fight makes absolutely no sense to him. He questioned how Paul's team could go from a fighter like Gervonta Davis, a world-class boxer, to him, a 255-pound heavyweight knockout artist. Even when they threw big money numbers at him, Ngannou shut it down immediately, saying, "It's not about the numbers. I'm just not interested. It makes no sense for me."
It's not about the number. If it was about the number, we could have started up. I would have tell you, I'm not just interested. It make no sense for me. It's not my what I'm looking at right now.
Ngannou essentially called out the pattern in Jake Paul's career, fighting MMA fighters transitioning to boxing, older legends past their prime, and opponents smaller than him. And Ngannou, he's not interested in being another name on that list. Now, you know Jake Paul wasn't going to let that slide. The problem child took to Twitter, or X, whatever we're calling it these days, and fired back with a brutal message. Paul wrote, "Dear Francis, just say you already got humiliated in boxing and are scared to lose to Jake Paul. I accept that. You are light work, my friend, stuck in mud." That's a direct shot at Ngannou's 2 professional boxing losses, a close split decision against Tyson Fury, and a knockout loss to Anthony Joshua. But Paul didn't stop there. He went full savage mode, claiming that his lane in boxing actually helped Ngannou's career, that he spoke up for him repeatedly when Ngannou was fighting with the UFC over his contract. Paul's full response included, "My lane helped your lane. I spoke up for you over and over again. Look at yourself in the mirror. God doesn't like ugly. Maybe the truth is, you are a fake holier-than-thou actor. Maybe use your platform to speak to the youth of your country instead of doing TMZ interviews like a con man to talk about me." And then came the knockout punch of his tweet. Reality check. I sleep you in boxing and John Jones does in MMA. Shots fired. But would Ngannou back down? Oh no. Francis Ngannou clapped back, and it was ice cold. The Predator responded with a message that should send chills down anyone's spine. Choose your words wisely, boy. Let that sink in for a moment. This is a man who's literally knocked people unconscious with one punch. When he tells you to choose your words wisely, you probably should listen. But Ngannou didn't stop there. He continued, "I agree that you need someone to discipline you for what you did to Mike Tyson, but stay in your lane." That's a direct reference to Paul's controversial fight with the 58-year-old boxing legend Mike Tyson, which received massive criticism from the combat sports community. In follow-up responses, Ngannou made his position even clearer. He essentially told Paul, "You did speak up for me in the past, but we are still not in the same lane. Grow up and don't fall so low." The message was clear. Ngannou sees himself as operating at a completely different level than Jake Paul. While Paul has built his boxing career carefully selecting opponents, Ngannou jumped straight into the deep end, facing Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua in his first 2 professional boxing matches.
Yo guys, what's up? Waking up today and just remember that I'm the guy that just defeated the linear heavyweight boxing of the world. And that I'm the damn man. Even though I get robbed by those judges. Yes. I really believe that I won that fight. I should have done better, but still, I won that fight. So keep it up. I keep my eyes on him, and hopefully we get a rematch. This time things gonna be definitely different. Cheers.
Ngannou? He's bigger, stronger, and possesses one of the most feared punches in combat sports history. Multiple UFC analysts have called him one of the hardest hitters in MMA history. UFC legend Michael Bisping even weighed in, calling a potential Paul versus Ngannou fight a car crash, and admitted he'd have to give Paul respect if he actually took the fight, because it would be that dangerous for him.
Jake Paul might be fighting Francis Ngannou. He was supposed to be boxing Gervonta Tank Davis. And now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations. And here are the potential opponents: Nate Diaz or Francis Ngannou. To go from fighting Gervonta Davis to now fighting Francis Ngannou. I mean, listen, if he does it, fair play. But I just call number 1 bullshit. Nate Diaz, yeah, 100%.
A lot of things we changed, like many things. Just we sit with the coaches and we make the plan, and very difficult to gain the weight. I finally become a little bit big now because I try to, like, last couple of months, it's very hard. I use like creatine, protein after every training. You try to eat more, but it's very hard when you're training twice a day. When you're training hard, it's very hard to gain weight. I use the creatine, first time ever in my life. I like use almost every day, and it's the like first supplement which I feel something's changed. It's give you like recover very fast, help you to gain weight, and give you some power.
Islam Makhachev has sent a clear warning message to both Ilia Topuria and Jack Della Maddalena after recent call-outs. The former lightweight king is targeting history at UFC 322, but his ambitions don't stop there. He's already setting his sights on the White House, literally. The training camp updates with Khabib, the JDM matchup analysis, the brewing beef with Topuria, and those spicy social media exchanges that have the MMA world buzzing. Let's get into it. So here's the situation. Islam Makhachev is preparing for the biggest fight of his career at UFC 322 on November 15th at Madison Square Garden. He's challenging Jack Della Maddalena for the welterweight title, attempting to become a two-division champion after vacating his lightweight belt following 4 successful defenses. But Makhachev isn't just focused on JDM. He's already looking past this fight and has sent a clear message to Ilia Topuria about their future showdown. In a recent interview with ESPN, Makhachev laid out his vision. I know UFC wants to do some big fights in the White House. Which fight is going to be bigger than this?
I don't know. I know UFC want to do like some big fight in White House. Which fight is gonna be bigger than this?
That's right. Makhachev wants to face Topuria at the historic UFC White House event scheduled for June 14th, 2026. And he's not just talking, he's backing it up with action, grinding in camp right now to make this two-division dream a reality. The warning is simple. Beat JDM in November, then meet Topuria on the biggest stage in UFC history. Makhachev is essentially telling both fighters, I'm coming for you one at a time. Now, let's talk about what's happening behind the scenes in Makhachev's training camp, because this is pure gold. Islam has been training in New York at the Frankie Edgar Iron Army Academy, putting in serious work. Everything was going smoothly until his coach and mentor showed up. Khabib Nurmagomedov flew into New York after cornering his cousin Umar at UFC 321, and when he joined Islam's camp, things got hilariously intense. Check out this exchange. When Khabib asked how preparation was going, Makhachev hit him with perfect comedic timing. Everything was fine until you arrived 2 days ago.
Ислам, второй вопрос. Как проходит подготовка? Что нового в этой подготовке у тебя?
Все было
Чем
нормально.
отличается?
Пока ты не приехал 2 дня назад, я начал отличаться.
Нормально отвечай. Давай.
Чем не отличается? Веса больше. Берхамов весит 91 килограмм. Раньше я работал с пацанами, которые 84-83 весили максимум.
Понял. А как с гонка на этот раз?
С гонки даже не думаю. Жизнь изменилась.
Да.
Как на 77 перешел. Да. Раньше всегда думал, на ужин где покушать, что покушать. Сейчас без разницы, лишь бы покушать.
Работаем.
Classic. But of course, Khabib wasn't accepting that answer. He told Islam to respond properly, and that's when things got serious. The real challenge? The weight difference. Makhachev revealed he's now working with training partner Muhammad Berkhamov, who weighs 91 kilograms. Compare that to his lightweight camp, where guys maxed out at 83 to 84 kilograms. That's a massive jump that makes every grappling session harder and more physically demanding. Wrestling with naturally bigger welterweights is forcing Makhachev to completely adjust his technique and power output. It's not just a weight change, it's a complete evolution of his fighting style. Let's talk about the man standing between Makhachev and his two division dreams, Jack Della Maddalena. JDM is the current welterweight champion after pulling off a massive upset against Bilal Muhammad at UFC 315 this past May. The Australian striker is riding an 18-fight win streak, and he's no pushover. But here's where it gets interesting. Makhachev recently broke down Maddalena's game, and his analysis is fascinating. His striking is good, his boxing is very good, his wrestling is not so good, but he is good on the ground. He knows how to defend, how to escape, how to get up.
Honestly, yeah, I watch all his fight. He is good. Striking is good. His boxing is very good, you know. And his wrestling not so good, but he good in the ground. He know how to defend, how to escape, how to get up, you know.
Makhachev pointed out that almost all of Maddalena's UFC opponents have taken him down. But here's the key. JDM doesn't panic. He has good composure on the ground and doesn't make mistakes under pressure. This is crucial because we all know Makhachev's game plan. He's going to look for those takedowns and try to dominate with his world-class grappling. The question is, can Maddalena's composure hold up against arguably the best ground fighter in UFC history? Jorge Masvidal recently called Makhachev the best guy on the mat, on the ground, and a real-life nightmare once the fight hits the canvas. That's high praise from a welterweight legend. On November 15th, we'll see if Maddalena's ground game can withstand the Dagestani pressure. Now let's address the elephant in the room, Ilia Topuria. El Matador knocked out Charles Oliveira to claim the lightweight title at UFC 317, becoming a two-division champion himself. And ever since, he's been taking shots at Makhachev, accusing him of running scared by moving up to welterweight. But Makhachev isn't backing down. In fact, he's flipped the script entirely. When asked about returning to lightweight to face Topuria, Islam was brutally honest. What will I gain by going down to 155 pounds and beating Topuria? Win the belt again? I already have it. I'm not interested in cutting weight to 155 pounds and torturing myself again.
Что я получу, если я на 70 спущусь и выиграю Топури? Я опять пояс выиграю, у меня есть этот пояс. Людям, в первую очередь, он интересен. Мне не интересно вес гонять 70 килограмм, опять себя мучить. Мне интересно в 77 драться, кушать, радоваться на кемпе и драться.
They said that Islam Makhachev would get the title shot up at 170 if you won this belt tonight. What do you think about that?
I think it's a beautiful challenge. You know, he's pound for pound #1. I'm going to get him back for Vogue.
Jack Della Maddalena has just sent a clear warning message to Islam Makhachev, and the Australian champion is not holding back. After Islam boldly claimed he would capture 3 division belts soon, JDM fired back with a simple but powerful challenge. Come and get your belt.
The most recent one, he says, you're not bulk. I'll show you there at different levels. Keep my belt clean. Do you have any response to Islam?
No, come get it. Come get it.
When asked if he wants to surpass Khabib's legacy by becoming a 2-division champion, something Khabib never achieved, Islam immediately shut it down. Listen to his response carefully. No, no, no. He's my brother.
Well, my last thing for you would be, does it mean something to you that you are trying to accomplish something that Khabib never did? And I know that, like, for you guys, maybe you don't talk about that, but for us, we're always like, it's almost kind of been like you followed so perfectly in his footsteps and done everything that he did. Like, is there something kind of cool about doing something that he
I don't know.
never did?
This question is Like some of them ask me, you want to defend the belt more than Khabib?